So let's jump into this. So let's talk about how strength gains don't happen overnight, which can be a little frustrating for some of us who follow people on social media or who really want to hit certain PRs. Right. So let's talk about this. The first thing we need to do is we need to break it down based on time you've been lifting. You heard Kristen say she's been lifting for 20 years, heavy. I've probably been lifting heavy specifically for 5 years. I did a lot of aesthetic training before. Not that it wasn't heavy, but it wasn't focused on being strength and heavy.
Right.
And so let's break it down. Let's start with beginner gains.
So, beginner gains, the best gains.
The magical portion of lifting. If you're just into lifting, be prepared for a wild ride that ends in a plateau. But we'll get to that in a second. So beginner gains can be classified as if you're new to lifting, which means less than about 6 months. Sometimes, depending on the person, beginner gains can last up to a year, but 6 months seems to be about where we see it kind of break off and plateau.
Right. So beginner gains, like you're putting on crazy amounts of strengths, like 20-pound PRs, like on the regular.
Mm-hmm. Lots of PRs. You'll notice that your body starts to change. If you go from doing nothing, sitting on the couch, to lifting weights, you're going to notice you're going to put on muscle. That muscle burns fat. You're going to see your body change just simply by picking up a barbell and lifting heavy. Yep. And you could even experience some weight loss. Like that's not unheard of, especially if you go from nothing to something.
And there may be a period of time where you have weight gain because you're putting on muscle and eating maybe at maintenance, and you might put on or more, right? If you have not dialed in your nutrition yet, you may be eating more food than you need. And you could potentially either your weight could go up or down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is why when people say they don't want to do their first meet until they've reached a certain amount, I thought that's so silly. Get in when you're young and early, not young, but young to lifting.
Yeah, when you're still a newbie lifter.
When you're a brand new lifter, get in, get your first meet in, and then get your second meet in. And you're going to, just being at a meet, first of all, is just like this magical experience of energy and adrenaline, and you're going to hit numbers you wouldn't hit in the gym. And if you are new to lifting, the next meet you do is going to be just that much more because you're just putting on beginner gains. You're going from zero training of your muscles to your muscles rapidly adapting to all this stimulus you're putting on it, and you're going to see some crazy increases in strength. Right. So if you are waiting to do your first meet until you're quote unquote hitting numbers or ready, you're being silly. Just go do it.
Yeah, just go do it. Hey, that makes me, I always tell people, like, no one is paying as much attention as you think. So a lot of people.
In everything, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people think like, oh, I don't want to go to this meet because I'm going to be like last place, or I'm not, my numbers aren't impressive or whatever. Literally, no one notices. There's no one that waves a flag over your head and says, this person was last place. No one knows.
Newbie here.
If you're not first, second, or third, like if you didn't podium, no one knows what your total was. So,
and usually the people who do podium, if you don't podium, the people who are going to be first, second, third, they are just going to support you regardless.
Absolutely.
You say, this is my first or second meet, and they're like, hell yeah, girl, hop on my barbell. I'll help you. You can work with me. You can work in with them. Like, there's no one looking at you being like, newbie, I'm going to outlift her. Because people who are, I had a talk with Stacy when she was here, and we said people who aren't confident in themselves and don't have something in themselves that makes them, that gives them worth. So they're not confident. They will look at other people, and that's when they'll judge. They'll look at other people and they'll say, well, their PRs are not that impressive, but that's just a reflection of them and not a reflection of you. And it rarely happens in the powerlifting or weightlifting scene.
Right. And if it does, you don't want those people in your life anyway, so fuck them. Who cares?
Yeah, get them out.